Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. It's a great day. My energy is really on point today. Just so many reasons why. But, anyways, we're going to talk about today how to navigate the steps towards the vision, right? So this is actually an interesting conversation that I was having with my son recently, but prior to that, I talked about this very briefly on the previous episode. There is a park near my house that's called Mount Trashmore. And this mount, you can look it up. It's a real thing. It's actually called Mount Trashmore because it used to be a landfill in Virginia Beach, and they turned it into a mountain. And by mountain, I mean it's a hill. The elevation on the thing is like, I don't know, 60 feet or something, right? It's not very high, but it's the only hill in the area. And so people do a lot of hill workouts there. Well, they were doing some construction on the other side of the hill, right? So when you drive, depending on how you get there, right? You drive in and there's the lake, and then there's one part of the hill where a lot of people will do their hill workouts. And then they recently decided that they needed to make it ADA compliant, and so they have a sidewalk that actually goes up to the top of the hill. And then on the other side of it, where they have this really cool playground, they built some slides into the hill, right? Which is a very cool concept. Well, I remember seeing a picture of this in one of the local mom groups, and one of the moms was like, this is a terrible, terrible plan. Like, whoever constructed this is a total idiot, blah, 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 right? Because she saw a part of that project where it was slides with concrete all around the slides. And without seeing the full vision of the final project, she criticized that step. And a lot of other moms like jumped in and they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they would just concrete it. What a terrible idea. Like, all these kids are going to fall, all these bumps and bruises, blah, 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 right? And I thought, that's really interesting. I said, they can't possibly just be leaving it as concrete. Like, that doesn't make an ounce of sense at all, right? And then I was over there last week, and what they've done is they've actually, yes, it was initially concrete, but they needed to concrete it before they could put down like that really soft, spongy, like playground padding, right? And so the slides, yes, while they go down the hill, they are surrounded by this really soft, gentle padding so that if a kid does fall, they're not going to get hurt too bad because it's that soft, like squishy material. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you've been to any like new playgrounds, they have, instead of doing mulch, they have this really soft, bouncy material that surrounds all these things, right? But I was thinking about it because it was interesting that someone who doesn't see the full vision is probably going to critique and criticize your steps. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that because they can only see what you're doing in this moment, and they can't see what this moment means to the big picture, they may criticize that moment. And I saw this with my son this past spring because it was golf season, and my son just got a golf scholarship, and his vision is professional golf, right? And he's in high school, right? Just graduated from high school. And so to have that vision can be, it can take some kids of that age like off guard, right? They're like, oh, why do you have this big vision, right? Like, who cares? Like, live in the moment kind of a thing, right? But this big vision requires his daily steps of playing golf. And there were classmates who, jokingly or not, were like, oh, you're at the golf course again. Oh, you're at the golf course again. Oh, you're at the golf course again. And he was like, Mom, I'm really tired of people fussing at me about being at the golf course. And I said, I get it, honey. I said, but they don't see the vision. They see this one step and they think, oh, it won't matter that much. but this one step is crucial to that big vision. And so what I really want to encourage you is, one, you've got to be clear on what that vision is. And two, don't pay attention to the people who don't hold that vision with you, right? Like, if they don't get the fact that you want to be a professional, soccer player or golfer, or, you have this vision for this beautiful playground at this park, right? Like, there are going to be people who criticize the steps along the way, but it's the steps along the way that make the vision possible. That's just how it works, right? Like, you get to that vision one step at a time. You just can't Amazon Prime it and it's here, right? That would be really cool. Except then it wouldn't mean anything, because then everybody else would have it too, right? And so you really need to pay attention to, or not pay attention, pay less attention to the people who are criticizing that one step, right? Why do you have to golf every day? Well, because I have the vision of being a professional golfer, like, period, end of story. You don't need to give people reasons as to why you're doing something, right? Like, the playground, they probably could have posted something that said, hey, this isn't the final project. It's coming soon. But instead they had it fenced off to let people know, hey, don't mess with it. We're not done yet. There were people that will criticize the steps along the way, and they just don't see the full vision, right? Like, I know I went through this with my triathlon training. When I was training for the half Ironman that I ran in 2022, I believe, I did the Blue Mountains one out in Roanoke, Virginia, and there were people, why are you biking so much? Why does it matter? Well, because the vision is to compete in this Ironman and to not, like, totally crash out on it, to actually do decent and finish it and not be dead, right? Like, that was the goal of it. And so there was training along the way, and there will be people who are like, why are you doing that? Why? Right? They don't always need a reason. If they can't see the big picture, that's not your fault. Because even if you tried to show it to them and explain it to them, they still might not get it. So hang out with the people that get it, right? They're one of my mentors. I remember him saying this. He said, I really want to encourage you guys to celebrate within our group. And I thought, all right, that's interesting. He said, because it won't mean as much to anyone else as it does to you, because no one else has walked in your footsteps. And I thought, that's interesting. I like it. Let's go with that, right? And so I learned to celebrate more in that container, because they were people who understood it better. Because not everybody is going to be as excited about it as you are, right? And so this is something that I actually kind of train up my children to do, right? I'll be really excited about something and I'll look at them and go, I need you to be excited. And they're like, even if it's fake, I don't care. They're like, oh my God, Mom, that's the coolest thing ever, right? Like, and I will let them know when their celebration falls flat. I'm like, but you, like, look at this, I'm so excited. And my son will be like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I need more from you. And that's when his, like, obnoxious one comes out. And I'm like, okay, that will do, right? And so there will be people who will not see the big vision. There will be people that will criticize the steps along the way. Those are probably not the people that you want to share the stuff with. And that's okay. Share it with the people who are going to encourage you along the way anyways, right? Who are going to be there to hold the space for your vision as well. So, I'm sending you so much love. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.